Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GM Sports Report, your weekly podcast on all things sports, where every play counts. I'm Grant, and I'm here with my co-host Mason as we get ready to cover the latest news, headlines, and upcoming events going on in the sports world. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see all things GM Sports Report. Mason, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, Grant. How are you doing?
Doing good. I'm a little anxious this morning because the Heat are hosting Jimmy Butler's return tonight, and that's all I've found myself thinking about coming up tonight. Very interested to see how this plays out. You know, I heard we're giving him a tribute video, which I'm happy about. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I hope we can win. I doubt we will, but yeah, we'll see.
Um, I know that Curry is traveling, but is he playing?
It's looking like we're gonna find out later today. It said it depends on
Okay,
how he responds to his treatment on the injury.
got it.
All right, so looking forward to that game tonight. But we'll start out our episode like how we start out every week with our hot takes of the week. So Mason, I'll let you go ahead with yours.
All right, so I don't know if it's too much of a hot take with the way that everyone's been seeing this team play, and right now I think that Knicks won't make it past round one of the playoffs if we continue to play the way that they are. Um, I know everyone's having like some speculations like, oh, if they play Detroit round one, they'll lose, which I can't, honestly say that we will win just because, we dropped back to back games against the injured Spurs and Charlotte Hornets, which are two of the probably worst teams in the league this year. Brunson is hurt, yeah. And everyone's playing a lot of minutes, but we knew this was going to happen, that there was going to be injuries coming along down the road, and guys are going to start getting fatigued with these 40-minute games that they're playing. So I don't know if there's a way we can kind of bounce back. Um, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if we can finish off the season strong. But yeah, that's my hot take.
Yeah, I think it's a good hot take. They definitely haven't been looking too good, but obviously, like you said, Brunson has been out. I'm sure he'll be back at some point before the season ends, and we'll see,
Yeah.
kind of go from there. But yeah, they have looked like they've been struggling lately, so it's a good hot take. All right, my hot take of the week. I don't know how much of a hot take this was or this is now, but back when this trade first happened, I know I was on this side of the hot take, and it was considered a hot take back then. And that is that the Bulls won the Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso trade. When this trade first happened, a lot of people thought the Bulls were crazy for taking in a guy like Josh Giddey. I never understood that. I'm like, this guy's like 21 years old. He has a ton of potential. Like, you don't really need Alex Caruso anymore because Alex Caruso is the guy you kind of want for like a contender. Like he's like a really good role player. Why not take a risk on a guy like a Josh Giddey who has like all-star potential? So I really like that trade for them. And in Josh Giddey's last 11 games, he's averaging 22.3 points per game, 9.1 assists, and 10.5 rebounds per game on 65% true shooting. So he has been absolutely lighting it up. And this isn't to mention that he's been amazing on the defensive end too. Almost had a quadruple double of steals the other night, had 8 steals in a game. So he's looking amazing. And like I said, he's only like 22 years old. So the sky's the limit for Josh Giddey. And I think the Bulls are going to really like this trade coming on in the future here.
Yeah, I know we kind of mentioned it the other night. Just all even though he got declared not guilty and he was innocent with all the stuff that he was going through. It really sucks to see a young guy with this much potential just get that kind of shade on his resume just because of what he went through. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can
Yeah.
do.
Yep, he's definitely starting to look more and more comfortable with the Bulls, especially with Kobe White next to him, who's been playing amazing as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bulls do to finish out the season and if they can make it out of the play-in or anything like that. All right, now we're gonna go do our underdogs of the week. This is where we just shout out a team, a player, anyone who doesn't really get talked about as much, and give them a little bit of spotlight. So Mason, I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to pick one for me this week, but I just went with someone who's been pretty much uh, taking advantage of his opportunities with San Antonio, and that's Devin Vassell, Spurs shooting guard, went 25, 6 and 3 and blowout over Toronto the other night. Um, and just leading the way with that injured San Antonio team, just really getting the reins on all that. And they had this other guy, I can't honestly remember his name. It was like some insane, I don't know if he was Russian or whatever, but like he was going crazy too. He had like I think 34 on the Knicks, and I can't even pronounce his name. But yeah, those guys that you just don't hear of are stepping up over there. Getting some wins here and there.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I've always been high on Devin Vassell, and I think he's going to get better and better as the years go on. So I like that pick. Um, my underdog of the week, I'm actually going with a team because obviously March Madness is going on right now, and there's no better underdog stories than in March Madness as March Madness bracket continues to play out. And I'm going to go with number 10 Arkansas is taking out number 2 St. John's. A lot of people had St. John's making it pretty far in this tournament. And Arkansas's pulled off a pretty big upset, winning 75-66, and holding St. John's to some crazy low shooting percentages. So,
Hmm.
um, as far as an underdog of the week goes, I feel like it's only right to pick one of these upsets that happen. I think this is probably the biggest upset that happened, other than maybe the BYU versus Wisconsin game. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Arkansas's taking out St. John's.
Yeah, they had a crazy win against Kansas too, who everyone was pretty high on as
They
well.
sure did. Yeah. All right, now we're going to go slide over to the NBA real quick and just real quick go over our player of the week and team of the week. So, Mason, I'll let you go ahead and start with your player of the week.
He had a pretty great week. I think they were 3-1 this past week. He had 30.3 points per game, 4 assists per game, and then 55.6% from the field. So he had a pretty solid week in those pretty good wins.
Yeah, Kobe White, like I was saying earlier, has looked absolutely phenomenal. And I feel like he always has this stretch towards the later part of the season where he just plays some incredible
Yeah,
basketball. I remember it happening last season. So it'll really be interesting to see if he ever breaks out and makes it like a consistent thing for him, like really becomes a star in front of our eyes because he's playing it at that
right.
level and he's shown he can do it multiple times. So it will be interesting to see. For my player of the week, I'm going to go with the Western Conference player of the week, which is Kevin Durant. They went 3-0 this past week. He averaged 27.3 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and 6 assists per game. And he's doing this at the age of 36 years old. I mean, this guy, he's kind of looking like a LeBron in the sense where it's like he gets better with age. I mean, he's putting up some of his most efficient scoring seasons over the last couple of years, and he's only getting older. And it's honestly very impressive. And I would like a team over in South Beach to maybe take a look at him this offseason because there's a lot of uncertainty for his future with the Suns. So, yeah, Kevin Durant, player of the week. All right, now we're
Nice.
going to go ahead and do our team of the week. So, Mason, I'll let you go ahead and take that away.
Yeah, it's kind of piggybacking off of what you said. I'm gonna have to go with the Phoenix Suns. I mean, they're 6-4 in their last 10. Not insane, crazy numbers, but I think they are 4-0 in their last four. So, and then you mentioned KD winning Western Conference Player of the Week with those stats. They're just picking up those wins later towards the end of the season. So it's really good to see them kind of picking it up.
Yeah. Definitely a team that's been underperforming this season. The
Yeah.
Suns were a lot of people thought they'd be maybe even contenders, but looking like they're
Mm-hmm.
going to have to maybe fight their way through the play-in if they want any success come playoff time. For
Right.
my team of the week, I'm going with the Houston Rockets. We've picked them multiple times. They started slowing off a little bit, but I think it was really just because of
Yep.
injuries. They're getting their guys back. Amon Thompson has come back, who's been absolutely huge for them. And they are 9-1 in their last 10 games, and they are back in that 2 seed. They fell out of it for like a week or two, but now they are back into it. And I really think that they're a legit team. I mean, they're young, and I don't know if they'll be able to make it too far in the playoffs, but they are definitely heading in the right direction. And you know me, I'm very high on this Houston Rockets group, so I had to pick
Yeah.
them for my team of the week. All right, now we're going to go ahead and slide over to the March Madness section of this episode. Obviously, that's going on right now. There's been a lot of entertaining games to start out. We don't have any more games until Wednesday, I believe. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Mason, I just want to know what team has impressed you the most so far in this March Madness bracket.
Honestly, I'm surprised by Maryland. We kind of mentioned the other day that they dropped some pretty close games off of some heartbreakers and the buzzer beaters. Um, like especially leading up towards that Big Ten in the Big Ten tournament. So And then they just got their own game winner to advance into the Sweet 16 against Colorado State, which was absolutely electrifying. So, yeah, Maryland's been surprising me to see how far they have actually ended up, and they are now playing against the Florida Gators. So we'll see if their luck continues or if Florida is dominant as they are supposed to be. So, yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. And the team that I have picked that has impressed me the most so far has been Duke. I mean, they've just dominated the first two games that they've played, and it hasn't even been close. They look like they're on a completely
yeah,
different level. Cooper Flag, this dude is going to be a problem come and when he's in the NBA. So I think it's easily Duke for me for the team that's impressed me the most. They just look like they I don't see a team that really compares to them. I mean, Florida looks really good, but I think with Duke and their experience and Cooper
yeah.
Flag with the star power there, I really don't see anyone beating Duke um, after their first two performances.
They really didn't even need Cooper Flag that first game. They're just saying it's
I
kind of like a
know.
test run just to see how he felt.
Yeah. Yeah. So going to be interesting to see as they keep going if they stay this dominant. And if they do, I really find it hard to believe anyone can defeat them.
Mhm.
All right. So now we're going to slide over to the main topic of this episode. Opening day is this week. As you can see, Mason's got his Yankees jersey on. I have a Cubs shirt on, but you can't really see it. Um, I love opening day. It should be a national holiday. I say this every year. You should get off of work and school to be able to watch some opening day baseball games. It's America's pastime. So we're going to go into a opening day deep dive, kind of a season preview like we've done with other sports. We did it with the NFL and the NBA. So now we're going to do it with the MLB. And I want to start by just saying, who do you have winning each division? I feel like each division has kind of had teams change and different projectiles. So I
Yeah.
want to know who you have winning each division. We'll start with the AL. We'll go through the East, the Central, and the West. So I'll let you go ahead.
All right. So in the AL, as much as it pains me to say it, in the East, I think I have Boston winning it. They just got a lot of great add-ons this offseason, and if they're if they play like they're projected to play, I think they'll end up winning the East. And in the Central, I have the Tigers winning. I mean, it's just no the way they ended that last season. You know, it just I think caught everyone kind of surprised, and everyone's expecting a lot from them now. So I think they should be able to win the Central and West. I'll have to say Texas Rangers. I'm not too familiar with the West as much, but I have been seeing a lot of hype around Texas Rangers. So yeah, I think they'll be able to pull it off.
Yeah, I like those picks. For the AL East, I have picked the Orioles. I know you said the Red Sox. I know a lot of people are going with the Red Sox, but for
Yeah,
me, I know they made moves, but to me, I don't know if it's enough. I mean, Garrett Crochet, he's a great pitcher, but he had struggles in the second half of last season. And I don't really know if that was like a fluke last season. Like he hasn't shown like a long track record of being good. So I have to see him put one together. And Alex Bregman's older. I don't know if he's going to be like a huge addition for them. Only time will tell. You had Jaron Duran, who had a breakout season last season, but how many times have we seen a guy have a breakout season a year before and then comes into this season and struggles? You know, it happens all the time. So I'm not putting all my chips in yet for the Red Sox. I mean, obviously, a game hasn't even been played yet, so my thoughts can change on this, but I'm going with the Orioles, who I think are a team that's always been in the run for the last 3 seasons. And I think that Jackson Holliday's fit to have a big breakout this season. I think Gunnar Henderson is going to continue to shine. I think Adley Rutschman's a great catcher. I know they lost some guys in the pitching rotation, but I think they'll be just fine. And I have the Orioles winning the AL East. For the AL Central, I have the Cleveland Guardians. I think that they're the most solid team. When you look at their division, they have guys that have been good for many years and Jose Ramirez. So Stephen Kwan's been really solid. You got Jim Kenstry Noel, who's probably going to have another good season. Um, I like the Tigers. I really love that run that they had last year, but I don't know if that was more of a fluke or if that's who they are. I am expecting them to take a step back coming into this season, but I do expect them to be in the mix still. But I ultimately have the Guardians finishing in first. And the West, I also picked the Rangers. I think that they had a World Series hangover, so to speak, last season. They had to deal with a lot of injuries. Obviously, they lost DeGrom, which they weren't planning on having that happen. Adolis Garcia got banged up pretty bad. Seager was in and out. Simeon had a down year. So I just expect them to come back fully healthy this year and take back over that division. I think the Astros are also pretty good, but they lost guys like Kyle Tucker and Ryan Presley, Alex Bregman, obviously. So they have lost some pieces, although they have gotten Christian Walker, Isak Paredes, who's probably going to play really well in Minute Maid. But I do have the Rangers ultimately. So those are my three. Now we'll head over to the NL, and I'll let you go ahead with the East Central and West in the NL.
Yeah, just for quick clarification, my all my picks are kind of gonna be shortened just because I am not as knowledgeable as you are in baseball. Just it's gonna come with time, and it's definitely not my forte.
That's all
But
right.
for the East, I'm gonna go with the Phillies or the Braves. I've been seeing a lot of hype on the Braves. I'm not too sure. I haven't been paying attention if they've like picked a lot of new players. I'm sure you'll be able to kind of touch up on that. But Phillies, they have always kind of been in the rotation with everything as far as contenders. And the Central, I'll go with the Cubs because everyone's got a lot of hype around them. I know you do too. We'll see if Kyle Tucker can kind of bring those hits back and those home runs to Wrigley Field. And then West, I feel like the Dodgers. They're just there's no way if they don't win the West and don't get to the World Series, I think that they should be absolutely criticized just because of all the money that they've been spending. So yeah, those are my picks.
Yeah, I like it. I'm pretty much right there with you across the board. NL East, I have Braves or Phillies. I really think it's a coin flip. If the Braves stay
Mm-hmm.
healthy, I do think I lean towards them because they had some good additions with Jurickson and Profar. Obviously, you get Spencer
Okay.
Strider back this season, who was injured all season
Right.
last
Right.
year. Chris Sale's coming off a Cy Young season. Ozzy Albies, Acuna's coming back from injury. Matt Olson. I mean, they got a squad over there. So I think if they stay healthy, they'll be able to win the NL East this season. And the Central, I also picked the Cubs. Although this may be biased, I think the Brewers are always in the mix, and they do worry me because even though it seems like they're taking steps back, they always find ways to win games, and they always seem to find a way to win the division. But the Cubs have really made some moves this offseason, getting a superstar in Kyle Tucker, getting some bullpen help with Ryan Presley, signing Matthew Boyd, who's been a solid starting pitcher the last few seasons. You got young guys like PCA and Matt Shaw and Miguel Amaya who are expected to take big steps this season. So I would find it very unsuccessful as a Cubs fan if they don't win the Central because I don't think the Central is that strong of a division. I think it's very easy to win that division. I think 88 wins should get the job done to win the Central, and I think the Cubs are very
Mm-hmm.
capable of that with how they're set up. And then the West, obviously, I'm going with the Dodgers. Like you said, they've spent so much money. They practically have an all-star team over there. Something that is interesting though is this Mookie Betts illness that's going on. I don't know if you saw, but it seems like it's taken him
Yeah, I did.
while to
He dropped
recover,
like
and he's
25
losing a lot of
pounds or
weight. Yeah,
something.
dropping. Yeah, so that's very interesting to see how that develops. Obviously, Freddie Freeman also missed the first two Japan games. I don't think that's as serious though. But yeah, it's going to be the Dodgers. I mean, if not, like you said, they deserve all the criticism in the world. So yeah, those are my NL division predictions. We had pretty much the same across the board there. And now what I want to get into is who is your sleeper team coming into the MLB this season? Because every year there's that team. Last year was the Tigers. So we'll see who you pick for your sleeper team.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of going along the same thing with the Rangers, like coming off the a World Series hangover, and that's gonna be the Diamondbacks. They didn't have a horrible season, but they're just in a very tough division. They went 89-73. They're in the same division as the Dodgers and Padres, and both of them ended up having phenomenal seasons last year. Corbin Burns added to an already solid rotation. I saw that they're like top five um,
Mhm.
projected rotations this season. So if they play like they're being hyped on, like especially on Twitter is where I saw, they could potentially compete with the two spot. That's if everything goes well. We know that that one spot is probably going to be taken up by the Dodgers, or they should. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I really like that pick. I'm a big Diamondbacks guy, and I also see them having a really good season. I love Ketel Marte. I love Corbin Carroll. I love Corbin Burns. I really wanted the Cubs to go out and make a push for Corbin Burns when he was a free agent this offseason. So I am right there with you. I think the Diamondbacks are going to be a great ball club this upcoming season. For my team, I picked who they played against in the World Series and lost to a couple seasons ago, and that's the Texas Rangers, who I also picked to win the
Mm-hmm.
AL West. Kind of like what I was touching on, World Series hangover. They weren't really fully healthy last season. They're going to be this year. You got DeGrom back. Obviously, Simeon, Seager, and Adolis Garcia are pretty good pieces in your offense if you want to have some success. So I really expect them to have a shot at a run this season, and yeah, see what happens with them. Okay, and now we're going to slide over to the next topic, which is who is your favorite for the NL and your favorite for the AL? We'll start the
Like to win
AL.
it.
Yeah, just favorite to win it. Who do you think's going
Okay.
to win the AL and NL?
So yeah, I know you kind of touched up on it. I think I think it's really between Boston or Orioles. When you look at the AL, it's definitely not as strong as the NL teams are. And I think it's going to come down to, those two teams and, maybe um, the Rangers if they stay healthy, like you mentioned. But yeah, I think it's just kind of a mix up with the AL.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, yeah.
Oh, do you want to do back and forth, or you want to give your NL real
Yeah, we can
quick?
do back and forth. That's fine. I wasn't sure.
Okay. AL, I also picked the Orioles. I think that they're gonna ultimately win. Like I said, I expect them to play really well this season. I don't think a lot of the other teams in the American League have made major improvements.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, keep short and sweet there.
Yeah. And then for the NL, I don't think there's too much of a discussion. Again, it's gonna be the Dodgers. I mean, I'd love to see the Padres come out with it, but I just, when you make a super team like the Dodgers, you just expect them to win everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot to not have the Dodgers win the NL. So I'm
Yeah,
right
I
there with you.
know.
I also picked the Dodgers. Um, maybe something good happens and one of the teams plays incredibly. I mean, obviously, this is a game of baseball has not even been played yet. So there's a lot that could
Yeah, I
happen.
know.
162 game season. But going into this season, my prediction is the Dodgers as well.
Hmm.
Okay, now I want to know who is your player that you expect to have a breakout season this upcoming season?
Yeah, so kind of along the Boston side again. I know you kind of said you could see a step back from him, but I think it's going to be Jaron Duran. I think we just got a little snippet of what we saw last season. Could potentially be even better this season. First All Star appearance last year, 285 batting average, 21 home runs, 75 RBIs, and then 834 on base plus slugging. So yeah, I could see him having a great season as well as Jackson Holiday. You kind of mentioned him earlier. Uh, he's a great young guy who has potential to be, you know, one of the faces of that Orioles team. So yeah, I think it'd be really interesting to see.
Yeah, are you sure you don't want to swap out that Yankees jersey for a Red Sox jersey? It sounds like you're pretty high on them this
No,
season.
it's just like, man, like all the injuries. I think we have like 15 injuries before even opening day. So it's like all those. And then it just seems like we took a huge step back this offseason coming off the World Series. So it really, really sucks to say.
All right. For my breakout player, it's only right to go with my guy who's tuned up
Yeah.
on a tee to have a breakout season, and that is Pete Crow Armstrong. Uh, Probably my favorite player on the Cubs. Honestly, I love this guy. I haven't seen someone as excited as him since probably Javier Baez was on the team. Last season, we knew his defense and his speed was going to be an amazing factor, but something that's really caught Cubs fans' eyes has been his hitting in the second half of last season and in this spring. If he can hit the way that he's been hitting, I think it's a guarantee he's going to be an all-star in center field this season. This man has potential to have 20 to 30 home runs on top of 30 to 40 stolen bases. He's a guaranteed Gold Glove winner this year. You can guarantee that. I don't need to see a game of baseball played. I know this man's going to win a Gold Glove. So I am expecting a huge breakout season from Pete Crow Armstrong, and I think he's really going to become one of those household names for the Cubs franchise after this season. I'm really excited to see what he does. All right, now we're going to go ahead and go over our award predictions, which will be Rookie of the Year, MVP, and Cy Young, the major awards. We'll go one at a time. We'll start with MVP. Who is your AL MVP? Actually, we'll start with the AL awards and then go to the NL awards. So we'll start with AL MVP.
Okay. I think Bobby Witt Jr. will be able to get it over Judge this season. I just don't see Judge getting another like 60 home run season, which I would love to see it, not gonna lie, but I just don't know if we'll be able to get that same kind of thing. So I'd say Bobby Witt Jr. MVP and Cy Young. I've been seeing a lot of hype about Tariq Skubal. See if he'll be able to get that. And then Rookie of the Year. I'm not too familiar with this name, but I've seen a lot of people say Jackson Jobe. I'm not too familiar with like where he is. But yeah.
He's on Detroit. He's a pitcher for Detroit.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have. Okay.
Yeah, I like those picks. My MVP is also Bobby Witt Jr. Look, I was huge on the Bobby Witt train last season. I said multiple times if
Yeah.
Judge wasn't doing what he was doing, he'd easily be the MVP. And like you said, I don't expect Judge to have another huge season like that. If he does, then there's going to be some discussions had about his greatness in Yankees history. I'll put it that way.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
but I do expect this to be Bobby Witt's award. I think when you look at like the phrase most valuable, like you just think of Bobby Witt because he's a shortstop. He has the defense, he has the speed, he has the power, he's a 5-tool player, and he's a face of a
Mhm.
franchise, and he's been phenomenal to start out his career. So I think this is the season he gets it done. And for Cy Young, I also picked another Royal, which is Cole Reagans. He came in second last season for this award, left-hander for the Royals. I really like him. I expect him to have another great season. I love Tariq Skubal, but I knew you were going to pick him, so I wanted to be a little bit different and
Yeah.
give a different opinion. So I'm going with Cole Reagans. And Rookie of the Year, I had the same guy. I had Jackson Jobe, kind of the only guy in my eyes that has a clear favorite to win this award in the AL. And really solid pitcher. He got thrown into some big spots for his first couple
Yeah.
games in the playoffs last season.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I expect him to do pretty good this season and win the Rookie of the Year. So now we'll go ahead and slide over to the NL, and we'll start with MVP in the NL.
Um, is Shohei pitching this year?
I think the plan is for him to at some point. I don't think he's going to start out the season pitching though.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go with what I wrote. I said MVP Shohei, Cy Young, Paul Skeens, and then Rookie of the Year, Dylan Cruz. I just feel like it's so. I don't want to say bias as far as the awards on the NL side, but I'd say it's more what's the word? Predictable. And if it's
Mm-hmm.
not Shohei, I could see it being Francisco Lindor because last season again it was that 1 and 2. If Lindor puts up another season like he did last year, he'll be up there with that MVP conversation. And Skeens, it's just the way he left off last season. I think he can only get better. And Dylan Cruz, yeah, he has potential to play phenomenally. So, yeah.
What about Juan Soto for a potential NL MVP?
No, no,
Don't see that happening.
mm-mm.
All right. My NL MVP pick is obviously Shohei. I don't think a lot of people are picking other, but I will say I do have a dark horse that I want to get off my chest. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the dark horse pick. I did that last season with Baker Mayfield in the NFL, so it's kind of my thing. For my NL dark horse MVP, I am going with Ellie De La Cruz from the Cincinnati Reds. This man is prone to have a huge
Yeah.
season coming up here. Obviously, he's a 5-tool player, can get you a ton of stolen bases, can get you a ton of home runs, has that great glove out there at shortstop with a phenomenal arm. So I wouldn't be surprised if this guy's in the mix for the MVP award.
Mm-hmm.
For Cy Young, I also picked Paul Skeens. Dude, let me tell you, it's worrisome as a Cubs fan to know that we play the Pirates all the time, and we're most likely going to face Paul Skeens all the time for however many years. This guy is doing things that I haven't seen a lot of rookie pitchers do. Um, he's he should be the easy shot favorite to win the Cy Young. I don't think that there's anyone even close to his potential for this upcoming season. So I'd be shocked if he doesn't end up winning. And for rookie of the year, I get the Dylan Cruz hype. Everyone is picking Dylan Cruz, and I get that. He's really good. And I actually didn't know that he was even eligible to win rookie of the year because he came in and played a decent amount last season. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, it is what it is. I'm going with the Cubby, Matt Shaw. I think this guy is really solid, a really great hitter. Obviously, the Cubs' top prospect. He's going to be our starting third baseman on opening day, so he's going to have a ton of opportunity to play. And I really am excited to see what he does. I have a lot of high hopes, and as a Cubs fan, I'm going to make the biased pick of Matt Shaw for my Rookie of the Year in the NL. All right, and
Nice.
now finally, what we're going to do is our way too early World Series prediction. So who's your World Series champions going into this season?
Um, I couldn't even pick an AL team to be in the the World Series lineup, but I just put Dodgers. And it's so annoying, man, because
Mm-hmm.
I like obviously as a Yankees fan losing to him last year leaves a sour taste in my mouth, but um yeah, I don't see them losing in a 7-game series to anyone in that clutch, especially if they have everyone healthy. Like I just don't see them losing to anybody. I mean, maybe Orioles could get in there, but um yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I also picked the Dodgers. It's just it is what it is.
I
Until
know,
we're
I
proven
know,
otherwise, you have to go with them.
I
So
know.
yeah, kind of anticlimactic. As much as I want to give a different opinion, I really don't see any other team standing a chance against the Dodgers at this point in time. Like I said, as the season goes on, I'm sure our opinions will change drastically, and we'll look back at this episode and be like, "Wow, we look like a bunch of idiots." But yeah, it's always fun to do. So nonetheless.
Yeah,
All right, now
yeah.
we're gonna add the segment four, which is probably my least favorite segment of the week.
Bro, he says okay, so he switches every week. It's always my least favorite. Next week is gonna be his favorite segment. Always
Yeah.
changes.
So this week is my least favorite segment of the week. Base is gonna be giving me some trivia, so I'll let you go ahead with that. Get it started.
All right, so I hope you're good with numbers as far as like
Oh
jersey
boy.
numbers. Are
Oh
you good with
boy.
jersey
Okay.
numbers?
Sometimes.
It's all guys that we have talked about. You have talked to me about that I remember. All right, maybe not the first two, but all right. Nonetheless, Cubs 2016 roster.
Oh god.
What number was Ben Zobrist?
Oh boy.
Dang. Okay. I thought this would be a
Oh
lot
boy.
easier. My fault.
Um.
Dang it. I'm a
I
big numbers guy, so no.
six. I could probably name anyone else's number on this team
Oh,
except Ben
that's
Zobrist.
okay.
16.
Okay. Well, that makes me 18.
18. Okay, I knew it was around there. I knew it
Okay.
was around Chris
All right.
Bryant's
So
number because Chris Bryant was 17. I knew it was around
yeah.
his number.
All
Um,
right. You said anyone else? Addison Russell.
27.
Yes. All right. Now with the current Miami Heat, should be able to get these two. What number's Pele Larson?
He's 9, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. And what number is your favorite Scary Terry?
Oh gosh, number 2. I don't like. I'm not a scary Terry guy. All right, but he's number 2. That number's
All right.
etched into my brain. All right.
These two might be a little difficult, but I remember talking to you about these two guys. What number is Alec Ingold?
Oh gosh, I have no idea, dude.
Miami
No
fullback.
idea.
Miami fullback.
I know who he is. I know who he is. I no idea what his number is. I'm not even gonna
Really?
guess because I'll look like an idiot. I don't even have a clue.
It's in the 30s. No? Not even
No.
try?
37? I don't
Okay.
know.
He's number 30.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Beats me.
All right. What about Kader Kohu?
He's 4?
Yes. Okay. So
Okay,
you only
that's
got
fine.
two wrong.
So I
And
sometimes know
that
numbers. I'm not the best with them.
I thought you'd get Zobrist. Not gonna lie,
I only
because I
knew
thought he was in
Zobrist
the
because Zobrist changed his number like multiple times throughout his career. Not on the Cubs
uh
specifically, but in Tampa he wore a
mhm.
different jersey. Obviously the Cubs he wore a different jersey. Everywhere he went, he had a different jersey number. So I knew it
Okay.
was around Chris
I was
Bryant's though.
just
I knew it was 16 or 18. I knew it was before or after. But yeah,
How long was he on the Cubs for?
it was only like two full seasons, maybe
Okay.
2.5.
If I knew it was that short, I would have picked someone different, but
It's
I
all
only
good.
looked at 2 years and he was on both years. But in gold, I knew it was gonna be a little difficult,
Yeah,
and I
that
thought
one
you'd be able to get
who
it.
beats me.
That
I did
one,
not know that one.
yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well,
That was fine. That was all right.
cool.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I could have done better, could have done worse.
Switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I like it. All right, that's pretty much gonna wrap up the episode. Let us know down below in the comments if there's anyone out there who you have winning the World Series this year, since we did the MLB theme. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of GM Sports Report, where every play counts. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to be able to see our weekly episodes on All Things Sports. For additional content, check the description to see links to our Instagram and TikTok account. This is Grant and Mason sign off for now. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, guys.